guy Richard is. Now, Mom, I know that I've told you this before, but I'll tell you this now in front of everybody here. I don't think you could have found a better man to be with for the rest of your life. Now, years have passed since that afternoon in Paris. But now, Richard is an intrinsic part of our family. Not only an intrinsic part, but he's a part of the love and a part of the feeling of togetherness. Now, I've gotten to know Richard over these past years, and I've come to love him. Not just because of how happy he makes my mother, but also because of what an extraordinary person he is, and how happy he makes everybody around him. I was right that afternoon in Paris. I would have to make room, but I wouldn't know how amazingly easy it was going to be. Now, Mom and Richard, if there are two people that belong together on this earth, I think it's you two. Because I think everybody here knows that I'm a little bit protective of my mother. And I completely believe that she deserves to be the kind of happy that fills the room with light every single day. The kind of happy that sinks in and makes you glow. The kind of happy that's both peaceful and ecstatic at the same time. The kind of happy that obviously both of you are today. So I've been proud to be part of this ceremony today, because there's nothing on earth that I want more than to see you two together. And in like this, I have no problem sharing my mom's priorities. In fact, I wouldn't have it any other way. So a toast to the happy couple.
Very nice. 359.